And this is Ken Kraetzer for CBSI Talking Business and the Marketing Club of New York. We've got a big event coming up on September 20th in New York City, the annual Privacy Outlook event. And we're going to talk to the moderator of that event, and that is Michele Fitzpatrick. Michele, how are you today?
I'm great, Ken. Thanks for having me today.
Our pleasure. Good to see you. We go back a long way in our careers in the marketing circles, and you are now at Marigold in the Nashville area, a MarTech company. Tell us a little bit about your new opportunities, Vice President of Enterprise Strategy and Services.
Thanks, Ken. Well, I lead the strategic services team at Marigold, and basically we help clients like Starbucks or American Express, major brands that you would think about, but help them run their loyalty programs, their email and relationship marketing programs, and their strategies. And Marigold is a company, I think many people know us from some of the various companies that came together to form Marigold. One of them is Cheetah Digital and Cheetah Loyalty. But Marigold as a company offers a wide variety of capabilities and services to help clients improve their customer relationship marketing effectiveness. And we work on lots of different industries like retail and QSR and travel and financial and so forth.
Sure.
As you said, I'm relatively new to the company, but I'm super excited about how we help brands engage more effectively with their customers throughout the buyer journey and the customer lifecycle.
Very good.
And we all know, Ken, some brands get it more right than others. Hopefully we're working with the ones who are figuring out how to get it more right.
Absolutely. Now, on September 20th, you're going to be in New York City at Arno's Restaurant, 11:30 start for the Marketing Club of New York privacy event, Navigating the Privacy Landscape. And Arno's Restaurant is on West 38th Street. As I said, it's right between the Public Library and Times Square. And great Italian restaurant. And you've got a terrific panel of speakers on privacy. Tell us about the event and some of the speakers you have lined up.
Well, first of all, the panelists are fantastic. These three panelists, Lou, who is the president and CEO of the Digital Advertising Alliance. We've got Ken, who's a partner at ZwillGen, and we've got Jason, who's general counsel and chief privacy officer at Adstra. And all three of these are rock stars. We are so lucky that we were able to get them on the panel for this discussion this year. And basically, this is maybe the fourth year I think I've led this panel discussion. And really, it's the intent is to give the members of the club and marketers at large an update on privacy and what's happening out there. In this year's particular session, we're focusing on kind of empowering consumers and brands in the digital age. And we'll delve into the significance of privacy as it relates to a variety of the legal frameworks or self-regulatory best practices around data collection, around consent, around privacy by design, and even thinking about the implications of data collection and utilization within the realm of artificial intelligence. And really the goal is to empower the attendees with some knowledge and strategies so that they can continue to fight the good fight and do things right for the consumer.
Well, that's terrific. And it's like you can't have a conversation in business this year without talking about the impact of artificial intelligence, how it's being used by consumers, by students, by businesses, by creative people. And that'll be a topic today. What's your thought about regulation, perhaps guardrails? Some talk about it on artificial intelligence.
Well, I mean, I'm going to really let the experts on this panel dig in deep in terms of some of the regulatory implications. But I like to think about it just in very pragmatic, sense. If you look at artificial intelligence as a tool, right, just the way we use modeling to try to predict outcomes, there's a lot of different ways that artificial intelligence gets embedded and has been embedded in the marketing process and marketing practices for years. So I think that as marketers, we always have to think about what the right thing is to do from a customer's perspective. I think there will be regulations. We are going to have to be able to be transparent in terms of how we're using data and technology and demonstrate how that's in the best interest of the consumer. So sorry not to give you a very precise answer on that, but it's a very complicated topic, as you well know.
It sure is. And one of the things that at these privacy events sponsored by the Marketing Club of New York is everyone takes a look at what the European Union is doing, the European community, what they're doing on regulation. They've already put some regulations on the books about AI. And then everybody looks at what California is doing. California seems to be the first. What will be some of the areas you think your speakers will focus on as some of the key areas between Europe, Congress, and states looking at privacy regulation?
Yeah, it's a great question, Ken. The panelists are going to talk quite a bit about some of the leaders in terms of some of these regional Europe and California and other areas where regulations are kind of at the forefront in terms of being passed. But we're going to look at it through the lens of a variety of topics. We're going to talk a bit about how to understand these challenges, specifically around the digital age, the fact that so much interaction between a consumer and a brand is happening through the aid of technology. We're going to look at data collection best practices and how that might differ based on geography or region. And then you'll hear a lot from this panel about the continued, call to arms to try to enact a national legislation or set of regulations in the U.S. in particular. So we'll cover things from a geography perspective. There's a lot of differences and similarities across the markets.
Very good. Michele Fitzpatrick, you and I go back to days at Direct Marketing Association conferences, and you've been at places like Weimar, Hart Hanks, McCann, and Axiom. What have been some of the big changes that you've seen in marketing over your career?
Well, as you said, I've come along the path from direct marketing that became data-driven marketing, that became multi-channel marketing, and now omni-channel. So I'm struck by the continued efforts by the consumer to figure out how to get what they want, and what they want, where they want, how they want it, et cetera. And as marketers, the job of a marketer has gotten a lot more challenging as the consumer is directing that buyer journey and that path to purchase more expertly than ever before. It's interesting to me that with all of the talk we have about the rise in e-commerce and digital transactions, it's still today 75 to 80% of all consumer purchases are made in a physical environment. So I think the biggest change is really this kind of omni-channel approach of understanding a consumer, really working hard at reading the signals and being contextually relevant with them wherever they interact with your brand. It's never been more important. So these are all concepts that we've been talking about for a long time. We've been enabling in lots of different ways, but we're at this moment in marketing history and in human history where all of that's happening in real time. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I think it's a far more complex marketing landscape. And far more exciting too. I mean, brands really have the opportunity to delight consumers in significant ways. And it's more possible today than ever before because of the technology, because of the velocity of data, and because of the consumer's willingness to interact with the brand. And I would kind of summarize all that by saying there's a value exchange. The brand needs to show the consumer that they know them. They need to make it worth their while. And brands who do that really well are rewarded with customer loyalty.
Very good. Michele Fitzpatrick. So good you're going to be with us at the Marketing Club of New York on September 20th in Manhattan at Arno's Restaurant for lunch and a great talk on privacy, navigating the privacy challenge. Michele, thank you for this preview. We'll look forward to seeing you in New York in September.
Thanks, Ken. I look forward to seeing you again and seeing everybody at the event. Come on and join us.
Absolutely. Good to see you. And it's Ken Kraetzer for CBSI Talking Business and the Marketing Club of New York. Thank you so much for watching.